You are home alone, and you hear on the news about the profile of a murderer who's on the loose. You look out the sliding glass doors to your backyard, and you notice a man standing out in the snow. He fits the profile of the murderer exactly, and he is smiling at you. You gulp, picking up the phone to your right and dialing 911. You look back out the glass as you press the phone up to your ear. You notice he's much closer to you now. You then drop the phone in shock, as there are no footprints in the snow. It's his reflection. A beautiful young girl is left home alone with only her dog to protect her. On the news that night, they announced there is a serial killer on the loose in the area. Before she goes to bed, she locks all the doors and tries to lock all the windows, but the one in the basement won't lock. She decides to leave it unlocked, but locks the basement door and goes to bed. Her dog takes its customary place under her bed. In the deep of night, she awakens to a dripping sound coming from her bathroom. Half awake, the girl feels the comforting lick from her dog, falls back to sleep. She reawakens to the dripping sound, reaches her hand down to the dog where she feels the reassuring lick, and falls back to sleep. Once more, she awakens to the dripping sound. She reaches her hand down and feels the lick of her dog. Now, curious about the dripping sound, she gets up, slowly walks toward the bathroom, the dripping sound getting louder as she approaches. She reaches the bathroom and turns the light on. She is greeted by a horrific sight. Hanging from the shower nozzle is her dog with its throat slit open and its blood dripping into the bathtub. Something on the bathroom mirror catches her eye. She turns around. Written on the wall in her dog's blood are the words, "Humans can lick too." In rural Wisconsin, there is an old abandoned park, built in the 1920s. It served as the town's gathering place for everyone. That is, until a newly developed train and tunnel for Tots Ride was installed in 1932. It was an innocent-looking childless train, with one main mechanized head car, with 3 small trolleys to pull behind it. It went around some loops before going into a small tunnel. But this is where the story gets weird. There were numerous cases of child deaths that year, all of them happening after the child rode on the train system. Some kids went missing in that short tunnel, only about 10 feet. Others went comatose after leaving. One, upon exiting, was found to be dead. Her dress was covered in what looked like small, bloody handprints. Some killed themselves by scratching at their throats until they bled out. One of them even killed another child before hanging herself with razor wire at the family's farm. The park was closed. The town's popularity as a tourist town plummeted. Recently, a team of scientists were sent out to the park, and they taped a video camera to the train and put a new intern in with it before sending it on its way onto the tracks. And when the train left the tunnel, it was empty, except for the camera. The last 10 seconds were nothing but static, save for the sound of children laughing. In rural southern Illinois, a toy company began selling realistic baby dolls to expectant mothers. But apparently, after the mother had her child, the toy baby would start crying. Eventually, the rocking motion advertised to calm it down wouldn't work, and you couldn't get it to stop without shaking it. Eventually, when it started crying, the parent would have to beat it And even the beatings and thrashings would have to get harder and harder to get it to be quiet. The only thing that seemed to shut the baby doll up permanently was to bash its head against the wall to destroy whatever mechanism triggered the crying. On more than one occasion, though, neighbors called the authorities to report child abuse. And when the police arrived, they found the bloody remains of infants smeared across the walls and the floor. In most cases, the mother couldn't understand why the police were there. She said she had just got rid of the stupid doll, as she rocked a baby-shaped bundle in her arms. Ever notice how, in scary stories, animals can sense spirits that you, humans, can't? Ever notice how the spirits are supposed to move incredibly fast? While scientists say dogs, and some other animals, can't watch TV because their eyes are more efficient than ours, and all they see on the TV is one picture. They're just static. Basically, videos are made up of pictures running at a high rate of speed, right? It would be like if I sped a video up 100 times, all you would see is static, right? Same with dogs. Now, what if spirits aren't transparent? They're completely visible, but they move too fast for us to see. That might be why animals see them and we can't. That would explain the shadows you see sometimes out of the corner of your eyes. Or what your pet's staring at right now. Well, I guess we'll never know, will we?